Welcome to Jtwes Monday Night Live. Thank you guys for all tuning in again for another Monday night.
It's another Monday.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Who all we got in here, Punky?
We've got several on here already.
Yeah, I seen a few waiting. I told Lena I was going to start it like a rocket. All rockets start their engines about 4 seconds before it actually hits zero. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, to make it to where it blasts off.
Yeah,
at
it
zero.
actually goes full throttle at zero.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
Um.
It's raining,
Yeah, it's raining right now.
thunderstorm.
Our power was out while we were gone.
I put my truck under the church. The basement has a hangover at church. I put my truck under there. I asked the preacher's wife, I said, "You want to put your van under there?" She said, "No." I said, "That ain't going to look good if we get a hailstorm." And he says, "Why didn't you put your van under the carport?"
Timbo's on first.
Hey, Timbo.
And Janice Simpson, which is Joe and Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Says, hello, looking forward to the show tonight. Always love to see those beautiful cats, too.
Oh, and I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
now.
I don't know.
So who is it, Joe or Janice?
It's both. They both
okay.
wash.
All right.
It's Janice's YouTube name, but it's always her
It's
and
probably
Joe.
Janice saying something about the cats.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, speaking of, she heard us talking.
Well, don't look at me.
Here she comes. She's got to rub on our feet first. She loves rubbing feet. Sometimes while I'm working, she'll just be under my desk, and I just have to rub her with my feet. Farm Boy 59 is on.
Hello.
Good evening to Jtwes and all. Hope all is well. Cajun Homestead.
Cajun Homestead.
And Cornbread is on.
Hey, Cornbread.
Said hee haw, hey Grandpa, what's for supper? Which we already ate.
Yeah, we already ate that.
Yeah. Because Joey smoked a Boston butt yesterday. For Father's Day, we had all the kids over, and it was a good fun day. But so we had so much of it that I had it for dinner again tonight. I just tricked him. I made different sides.
I didn't mind it at all. Yeah, she gave me some. She gave us some Roundup Ready corn.
Yeah, I had to buy store corn.
I told Lena, I said, "Lena, you know this is probably Roundup Ready corn."
Right. And I've never seen corn that bright yellow before because we don't.
I don't even think it was a sweet corn. I don't know what it is.
It was just a corn.
It's like it's a field corn or something. I don't know.
It wasn't awful.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it had a little more chew than sweet corn.
Yeah. We're spoiled with sweet corn, which we're about to load up the freezers again.
My goodness.
We'll put lots in ours, and then we'll use Joey's dad. He's got a half freezer too, so I'll store some over there too.
The green beans I got to show you the guys. Hopefully the next video I'm able to make, I'm going to show you guys these green beans and the corn and the Jimmy Red, along with other stuff. But man, this Amazon weather has really, I ain't never seen more blooms on some green beans in my life.
Yeah, we're going to have lots of green beans.
You won't be able to pull them at one time.
Why? Because they're all ready at the same time?
No. We'll max out on the first pulling.
Oh, I know, but we can still pull more and give them
Well,
away
yeah,
or sell them.
I'll call some people, see if they want them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll pull everything and then.
Yeah, you'll max out what you gonna can.
I'll try to give some away.
Yeah, we might step up to 100.
100 what? Jars? I don't know that I have 100.
Oh, I got 100 out there. Easy.
But I got a can of tomatoes too.
Yeah, but you do them in quarts most time.
Yeah.
I mean, pint. Is that pints?
I do several in quarts too.
I do some. I need to do about 10 half-gallon green beans.
We never use that many.
Yeah,
No.
sometimes when the kids come over, you use 2 jugs. You like.
Very rarely. So I guess I could use those 10 ones.
They last for years. And we're having
our own private conversation. Sorry, guys.
I forgot.
Paul Ford is on.
Hey, Paul Ford.
Good evening, Jtwes. Seems it's raining every day this week.
Mm-hmm.
No flooding, but too wet to work in the garden.
Yep. Makes that crabgrass grow good.
Cornbread said, don't forget to pull some young ears for roasting and shoo those coons out the garden.
Well, I got one. I'll let her have a few stalks.
Right, our problem is deer, really.
Yeah.
Welch Farms is on.
Hey, Welch Farms.
And Cornbread did say Happy Father's Day, young man.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin Wallace.
Kevin Wallace.
Hey, Joey and Lino. Hope y'all had a good Monday. Glad to be back with y'all. I've missed the last couple of Mondays. Good to have you back, Kevin. And Joseph Lott is here.
Joseph Lott.
And John Briggs. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Blanton Farms.
Hey, Nick.
And Nick says, finally got a couple days of dry weather.
Yeah, he was trying to get something done, and it just was raining every time he tried to get it done.
Johnny Exton is on.
Hello, Johnny.
Good evening, friends. Joey Neal.
Joey Neal.
Says, hello, Joey and Lino and everyone else. Hope all is well. Prissy's gone back down
Yeah,
to
it is, Joey.
rub
I'm
on our
sorry.
feet.
I was looking at the cat.
She's decided to come down here and just rub on our feet. Elliot Lindsay is on.
Hello, Elliot Lindsay.
And T. Hawkins.
T. Hawkins.
Bonnie Hawkins.
Miss Bonnie.
Bonnie says, good evening all. And she says, be sure to hit that like button. And I think I did say Elliot Lindsay.
Yeah.
And William May is on.
William May.
Stop, Prissy.
Kick
Man,
her.
she's like going nuts on my foot.
They're going to get tired of seeing her.
No, they won't. Haggy Farms is on.
Hey, Haggy Farms.
Hello, Joey, Lino, and family. Joe with the W is on.
Joe with the W.
J. Pill says, good evening, all from a sunny motherland.
J. Pill, I just seen where I could call your country for free if I get the Trump phone. If I get the
Don't
Trump mobile,
start.
I can call your country, United Kingdom, for free.
Don't start. Let's see. Michael Coleman is on.
Hey, Michael, I'm looking at it, guys. I'm studying the fine writing.
Michael said, found a good parts tractor, Super C, on FB Marketplace. Complete grill and still on 6V system, and says it runs. We'll try to figure out sending a link through email.
Oh, okay.
So Super C, is that what Will's got? Okay.
Yeah, he may need some transmission stuff, and biggest thing he'll need is a grill. But Brandon probably can get me the transmission stuff I might need.
And speaking of Will, Restoring Red, is that right? He's got his own YouTube now. He's doing pretty good. He's got 3 videos out. And if you go to Joey's Facebook, he shared the link to his page. Not Facebook. Go to your YouTube page.
Well, it's in the description of my videos.
It is in every video? Oh, okay. So just go to his latest video in the description. It'll have a link to Will's Restoring Red. And he seems to be doing good. And, you know, a lot of you loyal friends have gone over and subscribed to his channel. Janice is on.
Hello, Janice.
Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a good Father's Day.
We did.
This 1904 farm is on.
1904 Farms.
Good evening, everyone.
I suppose this 1904 Farms means that farm was started in 1904?
Yeah, give us a little history of your 1904 farm.
Sometimes I see these names and we don't say nothing and it just rolls by and I'm thinking, I wonder what that stands for.
Brian says, Joe, I forgot to tell you that I got the rolling cultivator fixed. The bearing caps were separated by the frame and offset. Took it back apart and reset it and all worked great. Spins like it was new.
That's good. Throws dirt like it's new too.
And aren't you looking for some local rolling cultivators?
Yeah, I got a couple people I already know though, Punky.
Oh, you do? Okay. Christopher Dixon is on.
Hello, Christopher.
Says, sweet, I caught your live. Thanks for being on, Christopher.
That must be new, ain't it? Christopher
I think
Dixon.
so. Orbra Horton is on.
Hello, Orbra. I got to come by your place Thursday.
Bonnie says, Troy helps me planting the green beans rows a couple weeks apart. Saves my back some. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I planted 2 rows the same day.
Yeah, so he don't care about my back.
I planted all our green beans the same day. I actually did because I kind of thought that the Blue Lake and the Roma 2 beans would have maybe a little bit different maturity rate, but no, they coming in at the exact same time. But we're gonna pull the round beans first. Or at least get like 20 or 30 of them, and then the rest of them could be Roma.
Oh, you mean can 30 quarts of those first? Okay.
They take a little more because they fit in a jar better than the square ones.
They do.
Yeah, because you know the square one's kind of wide.
But I smush them down in there. When I put them in there, I'm like getting them shaking. You know, you like jiggle them a little bit, and they kind of scoot down to the bottom. William May is on.
Hello, William May.
Good evening, everyone. I have the corn wagon over my house now.
He has a corn wagon over his house? Oh, okay.
Mel's Place is on.
Mel's Place.
Make some leather breeches out of those extra beans. Bonnie said, oh, I already read Bonnie's comment. Laura's on.
Hey, Laura.
Good evening, brother and sis-in-law. Christopher said, I have 2 rows of sweet corn, my first time planting corn.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, hopefully it's doing good and nothing has got it. We haven't had let me knock on wood, we haven't had the squirrel problem we had last year.
Yeah.
Because Sammy went out there today just to
I think he was.
check.
I think he was hoping we would have that
Sam
problem.
was hoping to have a squirrel hunt today, but he was disappointed that he said there was a lot in the woods, but not coming out.
It's not as dry and as late as it was last year either when that's coming in.
Yeah, I like it this
I
early.
made it this year where it's coming in. It came in after the beach last year.
Oh, it usually does.
Yeah.
Because I have my vacation, and I'm like, oh, when I get back, I got to do that corn.
Well, I planned it March 28th.
I know.
Which you can't always do that though.
I wish we could.
That's a kind of a fluke.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could do it every year.
Yeah.
I like it early, because I'll probably be doing some this weekend, and I like it. And I asked Joey if he'd take me out to eat Sunday, because I know I have to do that Saturday.
Yeah.
So you all pressure him here in the comments. Give him some peer pressure to tell him that, yeah, we need to go eat lunch Sunday after church. Because I usually cook, and I cook all week.
I could do like all them other YouTubers. Y'all send what is those things they send?
Is it the donations?
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm
Don't
just picking,
send
guys.
donations
I'm just
for
playing.
this cheap man. He can pay for it.
I'm just playing, guys.
Timbo says Trump phone for me too.
Super chats. That's what it is. Super
Chat.
chats. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name
I
of
know.
it.
Yeah, I don't want people to feel sorry for me like that. It'd be bad.
What were you saying about Trump phone?
Oh, Timbo said Trump phone for me too.
Yeah.
Joe with the W says, I really think the grill can be straightened out with a few body hammers and maybe a sandbag.
I don't know, Joe. There's a fella, well, his name's Alvis, and he has a YouTube channel. And I'm telling you, if Alvis says that thing's pretty messed up, then I don't know. I'm sure with enough time and effort, you probably could. But we'll see. I don't know. You know, a set of those dies that make that form that stuff back like it's supposed to be, I don't think they're that expensive. Are you jumping ahead again?
No.
Why are you always jumping
Janice
ahead?
says, fixing to have another storm here. So yeah, and it did pop up that rain soon. Like I guess
really?
another storm's coming. Our power was out, so I had to
Yeah,
reset
so
all
guys,
my
if something
stuff.
happens and the live just stops, you know it's because of thunderstorms.
Yeah.
We hope it won't, but it's a warning.
Restoring Red is on.
Hello, Restoring Red.
Hello, Jtwes.
Who is Restoring Red? Kick them off.
It says, how much you all know about a Super C? Well, we've already got comments about the Super C. You need to go up and read them.
Well, I'm curious. Can you make any? Can you do any? Does it show moderation beside his name, moderator? It still does.
It does.
Okay.
He's still moderator.
Okay. Never
So-
mind, Will. I was just wondering. I thought about that the other day.
Orber said, come on and stop by for a spell.
We'll see how. We got to go to. What did I tell you it was? Hillsville.
Yeah, Hillsville, Virginia.
Yeah, and I can go Danville 58, and it's technically less miles, but coming around Winston-Salem and going up 77 is it's faster, and that 58 going out of Danville, that gets into some long, windy road parts.
Sam just cracks me
Oh,
up.
what
Because
is it?
I just hear him busting out laughing randomly.
I don't know if he's talking to you.
Teen boys, you know how they are. Laura said, don't forget your sister when the watermelon are ready.
I didn't plant none.
Yes, you did. Have you planted them already?
Yeah,
Okay.
planted a row down here and 2 up at Sam's.
So we do have a row at home?
We got a row behind the
Okay.
house and 2 rows up at Sam's.
Okay.
And really, the row behind the house, I hate to admit this, the row behind the house is just so I can see when it's coming up
Right.
and how tall it is.
So you'll know what the
And
other
I'll
one's
know what
doing?
the other's doing.
Okay.
I put it in the garlic row. And I meant to point out on the video that after I pulled that garlic up, I literally ran the rolling cultivators through that row, I don't know, 2 times maybe. And man, those things freshened that thing up, ready to plant again.
1904 Farm said, yes, our farm was established in 1904.
Yeah,
We are the 3rd owners of the property.
cool deal.
That is cool. Christopher Dixon said, I sent a link to Will for a grill on eBay. They are kind of rare.
Oh, okay.
And he said, yes, he's new.
Yes, they are Super C, and I think the only other thing it would fit it is a Super A1 or something like that. It's the one that is like a Farmall 100.
And Michael Coleman said he sent a link to you too.
Yeah, I've got a few links here lately. Matter of fact, I got a email. Fella had sent some stuff for the channel in the mail, and we didn't get by the post office today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll go by the
Yeah.
post office tomorrow and get it. Joey said, so explain how you use the tobacco trailer. We don't have them in Kentucky. We just use hay wagons.
So Joey, a tobacco trailer, they always, honest to goodness, they always had some sort of purpose. Their main purpose is when you're pulling tobacco, you put all the stems one way, and that V in the middle over the packing of the trailer, because you had 3 rows of leaves there, and as you went up and up and up and up, it helped it, it just helped it stay on the trailer. It kind of worked against each other and helped it stay on the trailer. But you always, you know, if you needed to go down here and get 10 fence posts or just anything, you wanted to dig some potatoes up, you wanted to go get some sweet corn, you just hooked up to your tobacco trailer, and you used that thing around the house like people use those little Lowe's trailers that you pull, you know, with your hand, but you used your 140 because most time that was the smallest thing. And 99% of them, I say 99, the majority of them were always homemade. There was no, that I know of, a manufacturer facility for those type tobacco trailers. They were always homemade with some sort of axles out of Ford, Chevrolet, GM, Jeeps, whatever you get a straight axle out of. Just turns out that mine happens to have a Dodge axle because of the dust seal. I found out through the dust seal what axle it was. And I actually have one of our old tobacco trailers in those bushes behind the goat lot, and I'm probably going to fence in them bushes and let them goats eat that plum out and see if I can get that thing out of there. I still have one of our old ones behind the house.
I don't think so. I can
Well,
see in
I
there
don't-
pretty good, and I don't see any.
It's in there, trust me.
Joey's trashy side come out because I didn't realize
But
how much stuff he put
when
in
I
that brush.
When I say I don't know if I can get it out or not, because a long time ago I took Beeman's tractor and I pushed that stuff in there with that 4430. So I don't know, did I roll that thing up? Did I bend anything?
That's why men need women on a homestead to say, please don't put all that junk and just put it there in the woods. Let's burn
Well,
it.
if the goats eat it
trash
out,
it.
I'll clean it all up.
But well,
There's a lot of metal Ellie can take off.
okay.
It's mostly just metal.
Okay. William May said, my grandmother May's side of the family called a thunderstorm the corn wagon. That's why he said he's got a corn wagon over him right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I never heard that before.
And I got a wonderful factory-built harvester trailer. You guys have seen it behind the barn, but it's not quite like a tobacco trailer. It's a little bit heavier. And
And
metal.
that's what we put the sweet potatoes
Yeah,
in.
metal floor and stuff. And but I got to get some boards first, so we got to take one step at a time.
Christopher Dixon said yes, he's new.
Okay, thank you, Christopher.
Pork and Beans is on.
Pork and beans.
That's a fine old cat you got there. Yes, she is fine old cat. And everybody's heard her story. She's 17, and she's a, what do you call it? An heirloom, or what do you get handed down?
Yeah, I guess.
She's an heirloom. We had to take a family heirloom. Mark Phelps is on.
Hey, Mark Phelps.
Your video on rebuilding the rolling cultivators was helpful this week. Stay dry.
Thank you, Mark. I may make a little highlight of a video, another one. I'm looking for some that I can rebuild now. I actually have an uncle that needs a set, and I was going to try to find him some to rebuild.
And I just realized that cultivators have it's cultivator. Cultivator. Because
Yeah.
I heard somebody you were watching, and I just heard it in passing.
Yeah.
And he was pronouncing the T, cultivator.
Cultivator.
I'm gonna cultivate.
Yeah, don't go by how I pronounce it, because
That's
it could
what I
be, yeah, it
thought.
could be just.
That's why I always thought bush hog was
Because when I first started my YouTube channel, I got called out by every video for saying rolls.
okay.
I'm gonna bed some rolls, and
Well,
somebody
what's the real
would
name of a bush hog?
brush cutter.
Okay. Because I know that was wrong.
Yeah.
And there was something else you called that I didn't know there was a real name
I
for
call a disc harrow just a harrow.
it. Hair. Yeah.
And I
I've
don't
heard
say
you say-
disc and land, I
Chrissy,
say-
chill out. You need to get down scratching like that.
I don't say disc and land, I say cut and land.
Prissy's aggressively bathing herself right now. I think she's got an ear itch. Get on down, girl. Go on. Ricky Eade says, good evening, Joey and Lino and Sammy. I watched your son working on the Super C. That garlic was the biggest I've seen.
Thank you, Ricky. I'm telling you, man, I really didn't do a whole lot to that garlic this year, and it doesn't make sense because now last year I did have it over to barn, the first row of that garden over to barn, and I had the biggest plants, and I kept thinking to myself, I said, man, these things are going to be ginormous. And I'd pull them out of the ground, they wasn't nothing but mush, the whole bottom of it, nothing but leaf matter. And these plants were kind of spindly, the smaller stalks, not as big, not as bulky as these, and they got the biggest heads I've ever had on them. One of them is, golly, it's bigger than an onion.
Ricky also said my potatoes are going to rot in the ground if it doesn't stop raining.
Well, let's hope not. I got some I can pull now. The potatoes that I took from up under the house and raised, which they didn't bush out quite as much as the ones from the bags. You guys seen that on the video. But I did pull one up today, and it was a kind of a skinny looking scrawny thing, and it had 3 big old potatoes on it. It was about to, I give them to Daddy.
Okay, well, that's hope.
And that's from
hopeful.
the scrawnier looking plants.
That's hopeful. They're
The ones that was under the house is Golden Yukon Gold. The ones I bought from Corbett this year and planted, where I planted the whole potato at one time, I don't know what they are.
I just want some russet potatoes.
They may be rusted. They were pretty dark skinned.
Because one year you planted just white potatoes and they were rock hard. Like they never, like you would boil them and they still felt like firm. So, and it also may be because it's not going through the process of sitting in a warehouse for a year before you eat it. You know, maybe I'm just.
Well, I know you have Yukon Gold.
Maybe homegrown potatoes are just too good for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to. I'm used to some old ones.
You're used to canned corn.
Yes. Bonnie says, that's a lot of work, Lino. Lito definitely needs a break and deserving reward of no cooking. So yes, take her out. Any place of her choice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie's on my side. J. Pill said, I must miss something. What's with the Trump phone?
Oh,
You have to explain.
yeah, it's just, honestly, his 2 sons, which I didn't know this because one of them was talking during an interview. They started a bank because everybody was trying to cut them out of the banking market. So they started their own bank a couple years ago, and they started a phone phone company, but it's not Trump as much as it is his two sons.
Orber said 20 minutes from Pilot Mountain exit. That's where he's at.
Oh, okay.
And he also says, what are you going to Hillsborough for? Maybe I need to take off and go with you.
You can.
Yeah.
Bring your boys.
Literally, you can.
Yeah, you
Orbra.
literally can. It's a fellow at our church that comes and teaches the youth on Wednesday nights. He has, I guess he's got a little piece of property up there, a farm or something. And he has a dad-son,
Yeah, father-son
camping trip. And he said we get up there Thursday evening, and so you got Thursday night, and you got all day Friday together, and then you go to bed Friday night, and then leave Saturday morning. So it's really, a one full day, but 2 nights.
Well, and look, with this temperature, it needs to be that short, because you guys are going to have it kind of rough sleeping in 80 degrees.
And it's it's no RVs or anything like that. It's true blue camping. I think where the campsite is, I believe you had to park your truck here and ride
up to the because I think they have some ATVs to get you to the campsite. So it's like tent camp. So, Orba, if you're really interested, send Joey a message, okay? If your boys would like to go. John Briggs says Carolyn says the cat needs a hug. She needs a pet. She loves to be pet. You could pet her all day and she would never get tired of it. And she's just a love bug. Janice says I may want a watermelon too.
There'll be plenty of them.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get some, Janice.
Georgia rattlesnake. I think I called them something totally different on the video the other day. I really do.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm bad about, like, one day I called the hubs for the tobacco trailers, they're hubs, and I called them a spindle. And then the Georgia rattlesnakes, I called them Georgia jets or bets or something. And I really should correct that on screen, but I'm like, you know what? I
Y'all know what he means.
I hardly pay attention to those corrections, and I don't read fast, so it usually goes away before I can even read it. But I probably should do more of that.
Butterfly Farms is on.
Hey, Butterfly Farm.
Good to see y'all tonight. Janice says, also a lady can pull tobacco trailer by hand. I don't know what that means.
She's talking about, like, pull it up to the tractor and hook it up.
Oh,
like what I was doing through the woods the other day.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
I've had a few of them bad boys raised up at the wrong time, too.
Heritage Acres is on.
Hello, Heritage Acres.
Hey, y'all. Do you know anything about anybody in North Carolina that knows stuff about old hit-and-miss engines?
No, I mean, I don't.
What's that thing you want to go to July 4th?
Don't they down in Denton. I mean, I'm sure there'll be people.
Reunion. Yeah. They have, like, a lot of that there, but I don't know if they'd have somebody there.
I'm going to go down there July 4th. I'm going to go down. I'll be down in the morning, and I'll probably leave around 3:30. Because we have a cookout. Plow Day Sam has a cookout that evening at 6:30.
Yeah, and that's our tradition. We go there every year for I don't know how long. So
but I didn't want to wait all the way to that Saturday because I felt like, probably a lot of folks winding down by that Saturday.
Yeah, and that's in Denton, North Carolina. Martin Farms is on.
Hello, Martin Farms.
Hello, Joey and Lino. Brian said, when I was a kid, my family used to get our tobacco trailers from Tesh Trailers in Lexington, North Carolina. They built trailers for hauling and trailers for tobacco.
Huh. Well, we never did in Castle County. We always homemade ours. The best ones, some of the best trailers around my community were my neighbor, a good buddy up the road, Gary Huffines. He had some trailers, I kid you not, and any of you out there that's ever used them and pulled them behind a truck can appreciate this. Johnny, you could go 50 miles an hour with 2 trailers.
Paul Ford said, I see the picture of the 140 on the wall. Nice. Yeah, that's a picture I took from one of Joey's videos and put it on canvas.
Oh, yeah.
Because on here you can't really see you good, but you can see the 140.
Oh, okay.
Jason Pendergrass is on.
Hello, Jason.
Good evening, Jtwes. Redneck Ways is on.
Redneck what?
Redneck Ways.
Redneck Ways.
Says Yukon Gold are about all I eat now. Tried them about 10 years ago and changed from the russets.
Yeah, I like them. Leno, there's no other potato other than russets to her. Really. I mean, you know that there's no other potato other than russets.
Sometimes I don't mind the little red potatoes if I want to be fancy and cook fancy potatoes, like roasted.
I like any potato that's rolled in salt and baked just like they got it like Outback.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love potatoes in general. I love fries, baked potatoes, potato chips.
You're going to quit looking at me like that too.
You know, mashed potatoes. I mean, I just love everything potato. Violet Moore is on.
Violet. Hello, Violet.
Hi, this is James' wife from Moore's Farmall.
Hey.
First time listening in. We got to get down and see y'all again soon.
Yes, you do.
Yes, it was so nice meeting you too, Violet. I was thinking her name wasn't Violet, though. I was thinking her name was Mary.
Well, it may be what she's got on YouTube
Violet,
channel.
do you go by Mary?
I talked to the boss man himself this morning.
Orber says, I'm out. You know how humid it is here and how it's going to be then. That's why I gave that disclaimer.
Well,
Orbra.
you know, Orbra, I guess if things get tough, I can just come to your house about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if y'all get like overheated, go get in the truck and turn the air conditioner on.
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
I
while.
would. No, it ain't going to be that bad.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all
It's
will
gonna
be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Violet, I'm sorry. She says, no, ma'am, it's Violet. Where did I get Mary from? I'm wondering if I'm thinking of somebody who came to Plow Day.
You could
getting
be.
her name mixed
Or you
up.
could be thinking about the fella that stopped by with the trailer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And y'all have to forgive me because I've met so many people who've come to see Joey or, you know, I get to talk to through different events.
I don't think I've heard from that fella either.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was kind of a...
Random deal, but that's
Yeah,
all right. I mean,
yeah.
he needed a place to put his trailer.
It was very random. I was
Well,
like,
he really
this is
needed a place
so
to put his trailer,
weird.
so he figured he could trust me. I don't blame him.
No,
I
it was
guess.
just a holding place.
Yeah, I
for-
don't blame him.
Yeah, it was,
I mean,
it was
that's
nice
fine.
of them.
Yeah. Super nice guy.
Yeah, they were nice.
Like to have his trailer.
Yeah. Christopher said, my neighbor planted some Indian purple potatoes. They really are purple too.
Oh, wow.
And they taste like normal potatoes.
That's a little weird. And purple mashed potatoes.
Which I guess is kind of like that Hopi corn.
Yeah.
You know, like cornbread that's purple is weird too. Lamont Powell's on.
Hello, Lamont.
I love fresh little red taters boiled, then drained and slathered in butter.
Me too.
Yeah. That's what I mean about the red potatoes. I like those too.
You're thinking about some of those catering things. They'll have those potatoes like that.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
And plus, if somebody else cooked it, I always think it tastes better. I do. Even if somebody makes me a sandwich, it tastes better. I don't know why. It's just weird. Janice says, good night. My power's blinking. Have a great week, everyone.
Okay, Janice.
Good night, Janice. And Bonnie says, we used to do salt potatoes growing up. And Joey's grandpa used to do stewed potatoes. Like, it was like a soupy kind
It's like a potato soup.
Yeah, but it's not. Like, you don't
Yeah, it
add
is.
cheese
It
in
really
it.
is, yeah.
No, it's just
Well,
potato and water.
I know, but that is potato soup.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
It's not.
is.
It's not.
It's a form of it.
Okay.
You have different recipes.
that's
This
called-
recipe is potatoes, butter,
Stewed
salt,
potatoes.
pepper.
It's called stewed potatoes, what you're describing.
It's still a soup, especially if it's all liquidy.
Well, anyways, Joey loves those.
Oh, I like grandpa's. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I could make them myself.
I'm sure you could.
I mean, I ain't had them since he made them
Right.
last.
Kurt T is on.
Hey, Kurt T.
Good evening from Southeast Louisiana. Sorry I'm late, just getting in. Hope all is well, trying to dry out here in Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, I think the whole southeast is a little bit thunderstormy and rainy and Amazonian.
Yeah.
But I told Leno, I said, you know, it kind of makes it a little difficult to do some things and some things you really need to do outside. But man, it sure does make crops grow. Golly,
Right. And I told him it's because we're a giant greenhouse.
it
It's
makes a
humid,
crop just
warm, and
roll
wet.
out. I moved you guys may not have noticed. I don't think I filmed in front of the house much, but in the mulch, that big old tree that I have down at my pond, some sort of birch tree down there. I got a leaf like it. Somehow there was one growing in the mulch, and it grew last year to about this tall, and I left it. And then this year it really hit its spurt and got about that tall. And so I dug it up today with a shovel, but I dug a big mound of dirt that big with it and moved it, and the top of it wilted up on me. The bottom half is good, but the top kind of drawed up when I moved it today. Maybe I should have moved it in the morning, not in the heat of the
Not
day.
in the heat, yeah. But
But
think it'll be
I think
fine.
it'll be okay. I put a ton of water in it when I moved it, so, and it just got a big rain.
Yeah. And
I told Sammy, I planted it about 20 feet to the right of the house here. I said, Sammy, this is going to be my shade tree when I get older, but it's going to be your $5,000 tree bill when you got to cut it away from the house.
nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine there. But yeah, that'll be our shade tree when we get old. We can sit under it.
He'll have to replace the septic tank lines, and cut the tree down.
It's not too close to the septic tank.
It's close enough that in 30 years it'd be over. The roots would.
Well, why would you do that?
Well, he need to replace it then anyway.
Kind of like that's like a bucket moment today. I should tell him about that bucket moment, what you did to my bucket.
Oh, I'll tell him. I ain't embarrassed to tell him.
I would be.
Lena told me to put a bucket back where I had it, which is on this side of the house. So I just took it and tossed it over her, and she said it split it.
It did.
And I told her, I said, it's a cheap bucket anyway if it split it.
But it's the only one I have for hauling water to my. I've got a little batch of new ducks, and right now they're still pinned in because of, just stuff out to get them.
It's not your normal plastic bucket. It is a thinner bucket than, say, your Lowe's or Home Depot bucket.
Yeah. So we'll have to get a replacement for my water bucket.
Right.
Redneck Way says, y'all have a good night. Finally caught alive. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
It was good having you. Flatwoods Farmer is on.
Flatwoods.
Hey, y'all, got home just in time to tune in the second half of the show. Wouldn't want to miss the live show while it's live. Yeah, thank you, Flatwoods.
Yeah, thank you, bud.
Christopher says the purple potatoes are low in starch, diet taters.
Oh.
Well, that is good for diabetics because,
Wait, they say that about sweet potatoes?
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, sweet potato's not actually a tater.
It's a root.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a root.
Yeah, so
I think a sweet potato is like halfway more kin to a carrot than it would be a.
I agree. I think it's more like it's a cross between a pumpkin and a carrot. That's why I don't like them.
Well, pumpkin's above ground.
Because I don't like pumpkins or carrots.
Yeah.
I'll eat some raw carrot, but I don't like cooked carrots. Johnny Edgerton says, are you getting close to your next oil change for the Ram?
I am, and it's the last one, Johnny, and we'll get that test sent off, and then we'll be ready to do a video with Lake Speed Jr., and we'll talk about which oil is best for that Ram truck. And I'm sure, and I'll go ahead and say this now in this live stream because you guys watch the channel all the time. I'm sure there will be some hateful comments on there about, especially when the test results come out, about, oh, you're crazy, this is better and this is better. And but somehow when I'm talking to Lake Speed, I'm gonna try to work in there that all the oil changes were within 100 miles of each other. They all were driven the same oil filters. The only thing difference was the King of the Hill AMSOIL or the big manufacturer Pennzoil.
Rick M says, I had 4 Yukon Gold potatoes from the grocery store that sprouted. I planted them in raised bed and ended up with 12 pounds of potatoes.
Get it, boy.
That's awesome.
It is awesome because I have actually planted some potatoes that we had that had a few eyes on them. And they did okay, but they were a lot weaker producing than the ones that hadn't been treated. So it can be done. It's just to me, they're not as, forthcoming as the non-treated potatoes.
John Gainey is on.
Hello, John Gainey.
Joe and Blake, but on. We had 6.5 inches of rain in Pitt County last
Woo,
night.
good gracious.
Saw several activity buses over at East Carolina in a picture this morning, sitting axle deep in water.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, and that eastern, before you get, it's like eastern North Carolina gets like New Bern.
Yeah.
They get flooded a lot.
Well, when me and Lena was down at Surf City last weekend? Mm-hmm. Yeah, last weekend. Had a thunderstorm, obviously. And the little main road going through Surf City there, some places of it would probably been up to, not up to my axle, pretty close on that white truck, but a pretty good deep amount of water, about like that. And I told Lena, I was like, golly, when it thunderstorms at the beach, it's just water everywhere.
It is.
But it drains away pretty quick. I mean, you wake up the next day and it's gone. And it's not there. It drains up pretty quick. But the only thing I hated, I kept thinking to myself when I was having to drive through it, I kept thinking, man, I sure hope this stuff ain't mixed with salt. just driving through salt water. I mean, geez.
Flatwoods Farmer says, love the new photo on the wall there. Maybe you've already talked about it tonight. Yeah, just for a minute, the one on with the farm wall it's actually a screenshot from one of Joey's videos.
Yeah, it's just one of Will's shots
that I put on canvas, and then the one below it, it's a profile picture of Joey and all the boys at Elliot's wedding, and it was just such a good picture because it's like a step down. It's like they were stepping down in height and age, and I just loved it. And they're all dressed up and look so handsome.
Sammy said retake that picture in 2 years.
Yeah, Sam's wanting to be at the tallest point of that picture.
Sammy said it'll start high and it'll dip down and go back up.
That little brother effect. But
they're right, Sammy Bear.
yeah, so that's what that other picture is, and I just love that picture, so I had that one put on canvas too. James Rayleigh is on.
Hey, James Rayleigh.
Joey, you may be the only man I've ever watched work in a poison ivy patch.
Yeah, I told Leno after about 2 or 3 comments talking about poison ivy, and then one fella, bless his heart, I don't remember who it was, he may be on here tonight, was telling me what I need to do medical-wise to fix it up. And I felt so bad and guilty, because I didn't think nothing about it. And I said, Lord, Lena, I need to put a pinned comment on here and let everybody know, thank you for being concerned with me. But, the good Lord, God has blessed me with an immunity to poison oak, poison ivy, ragweeds, bees, just a lot of stuff. And I'm not bragging. That's no bragging. I said, thank you, Lord. You're not bragging if you thank him. But anyway, and obviously her too. She was in there.
Yeah, I was in there too. I was doing the filming.
She didn't get the bee immunity, but you got the poison oak.
Yeah, everything got poured into the bee issue with me.
Yeah.
I'm immune to a lot of stuff, but not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Penicillin.
Yeah, I have no medicine allergies, nothing.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything I've ever been allergic to. Except a cat.
Except for your watch band that
oh yeah, Chinese. Yep. I had a cheap
Chinese watch band.
I had a cheap Chinese watch band one time. I kid you not, guys. That mug looked like you put battery acid all the way around my wrist. Luckily, it didn't spread no further than the watch band. It literally was just where the band contact. And I told Leno, I said, Leno, you can't tell me that it ain't some illegal chemical in that band that just made it through our custom import process.
Because he's never had a reaction to anything like that before.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
He's not reactive to certain latex or material, so I don't know what it was, but whatever that band was made of just ate away at his skin. So that's the only reaction I've ever seen you have. Martin Farms says, have you ever grew popcorn, and if so, what type?
I have not, but it's funny you said that, Martin Farms, because I was eyeballing. I can't. You're gonna have to say the name for me. I was eyeballing a jar of what I cooked last night. I can't say it.
Oh, Orville, Redenbacher.
Yeah, I was eyeballing the jar of that last night. I said, I wonder if I can plant this and make my own.
Yeah, make your own popcorn.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't-
if it's not a, if it's heirloom popcorn seed, maybe it's their blend. If I ain't selling it, there's no law where I can't plant it and have my own. Give me about 10 pound of it.
Yeah, I guess
Shell
so.
it up.
Speaking of heirloom, we have an heirloom pumpkin seed that planted itself up front, and the leaves on that plant are like this big around the pumpkin leaves.
I done made up my mind. If these watermelons do good behind the house, I'm gonna pick 2 plants, and I'm gonna pump some nitrogen to them things. I'm gonna see if I can make a watermelon about that big.
You can do a little science experiment.
I am. I'm gonna put a couple of drip holes in a 5-gallon bucket and set it beside it with water and nitrogen.
Okay. I mean, if you want to try that. I don't know if I'll eat it though. Christopher Dixon says Dodge. Dim old Dodges go everywhere. That's what it stands for. Yeah, so. But no, I was saying about that heirloom plant.
Well, I was gonna tell the folks too, because I just remembered it.
Okay, go ahead.
When we were talking about the poison oak, poison ivy, when I went and got the wheels, I had to take, the lug nuts were so rusted, I just kept breaking bolts on them, breaking bolts, or spinning them out. And once it spun it, my D-Walk couldn't do nothing with it. It couldn't break it at that point. It needed a hold to break. And so I said, man, I just take the wheels and all off. But it was raining that day. All that poison oak was soaking wet. I was in 2 inches of water.
And there was 3 million mosquitoes.
Yeah, it wasn't raining when I was doing it, but it had rained and the sun had popped out and everything's wet and mosquitoes everywhere. And
I had to film. I was like, don't you need me like at the house or something? Sometimes I had to go to the jungle to film.
Yeah.
And I knew what he told me it was like, so I put long sleeves on, long pants on. I was prepared.
And a couple of folks has commented about grease in the hubs, and then I hand packed all those bearings before I went. But that trailer, guys, it literally will never leave this yard unless it goes to Plow Day or maybe to Rogers for something. But other than that,
it's not meant for.
You don't pull those things up and down the highway.
And that would be for people who don't know about tobacco trailers, because everybody who knows about them knows you don't take them long distances.
Yeah, you don't. They're not. And
Right.
they'll beat you to death on the tongue because you got all that slack on the tongue.
From Life with Avery's on.
Hello, Avery.
Hey y'all, my tobacco cart is almost ready for paint, and I picked up lumber for it this morning. And what Avery calls tobacco cart is the same thing as what Joey calls tobacco trailer.
His is a little different from mine.
Okay.
I've seen the ones like what Avery's got. I purposely wanted some metal uprights, but I have seen tobacco trailers that you used a 2x4 for an upright. And
yeah, I've seen, like, just living here, I've been stuck behind a tractor pulling tobacco several times, and I've seen a variety of options, and they're all like,
well, still,
that's just how they are.
Gary's was the absolute best.
Oh yeah, and I remember Gary's definitely.
Man.
But I've seen other farmers when you're getting close to Alamance County, or even into like going towards Mebane, and there's been some rickety. I'm like, I hope you make it, guys. Anthony Bertrand is on.
Hello, Anthony.
Southwest Louisiana, wet here with 7 days in a row with rainfall.
Oh my goodness.
Got to save some of this rain for later. Yes, that's what I'd like to do too.
Well,
August, when the grass is cracking under your feet, I'd love to have some rain then.
Yeah, I hope y'all like the parking lot, what I call the parking lot feel for Plow Day this year. I've been mowing it. I usually hadn't been mowing it. I wait till like a couple weeks before Plow Day and I bush hog it, and it's usually like 9 foot tall in weeds and ragweeds and this, that, and the other. But there's some sort of plant in there that makes a stem big as round as my finger, and when I bush hog it off, it gets as hard as a rock. And every year I'm afraid somebody's gonna bust a tire with those things. And sometimes I roll the roller over it to try to break those stems off. But I've been mowing it this year, and that plant is, I guess it's because you're keeping it so cut down.
You're stunting it.
It's everything on that whole plant's just soft like grass. And so, but it looks absolutely beautiful out there. So I think y'all gonna really like the parking lot from Plow Day Field this year.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, because the crabgrass is coming up a little bit through it too, and obviously that's gonna happen.
Avery said I finally got some decent tires too for his
Good deal,
tobacco
decent.
cart.
Good deal, Avery.
And you got decent tires. Those are some nice tires on that thing.
Those-
I've never seen tires look that nice on a tobacco trailer.
Well, those actually, it's a kind of a hidden agenda behind that. If something happened, or if me and Leno was to take a trip to Hersheyland, Pennsylvania, or Florida with the RV, I'll take one of those tires with me
As a spare.
as a third spare, because it's the exact same size as the RV. So there was a kind of a dual purpose there.
Okay. Joey Neal says, do you have a date for Plow Day?
I do. October, was it 11th?
I don't know.
It is. 11th of October, I'm pretty sure, is a Saturday. Everybody check it, but I'm pretty sure it's October 11th. 11th or the 12th, one or the other, whatever that Saturday is. So it's going to be, I guess that would be the second Saturday in October.
Lamont Powell says,
Actually, I forgot. I can look at my watch. Go ahead and read that.
Lamont said, for old time's sake, I'd like to see you build a tobacco sled.
Lamont, I don't know that I've ever even seen a tobacco sled. I think I have. But man, that had to be terrible on a poor mule. Not only did he have to pull that sled, it didn't have no wheels on it. Why is my watch face so gritty?
I don't know. Because you work in a lot of dirt. Timbo says, we'll be praying for rain come September. Probably so.
Oh yeah, he's right. We will.
Joey Neal says,
October the 11th is correct.
okay. Joey Neal said, we converted an old school bus into a tobacco truck with a 28-foot flat on it. Took forever to unload it in the barn.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of guys that's still farming now. I mean, they're either filling up the trailer as they go, or they're filling up a big giant conveyor type trailer, and it conveys it right on into some boxes and right in the barn. Nobody hardly touches anything. So yeah, a lot of them has went to. Well, you've seen in the video that my buddy Ivan had several just right around the wood line there. I mean, I could have chosen any one of those. I just happened to see that, and I like the thickness of the angle iron.
Philip Meredith is on.
Hello, Philip Meredith.
Philip says, have you planted your cotton yet?
I did. That video will be out in a couple days. I did plant it, and she planted beautiful.
T. Hawkins says, count me in for Plow Day.
Thank you, T. Hawkins.
Yes. I'd love for Mr. T and Miss Bonnie to come. And we're thinking so far this may change, but we're thinking because we have just been mastering these Boston butts, that I think we're going to cook like a few of them and have some pulled pork and some barbecue sandwiches type things for Plow Day. Mm-hmm. We're thinking, not 100% yet, but I'm still kind of like, getting a feel of what should I have.
I'd like to set up something where if somebody wanted to bring just something to show off, maybe it's a lawnmower, maybe it's something,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm still thinking a piece of equipment or something?
Yeah, I mean, just something that maybe they're not want to plow with or anything, because, that gives the folks that's not plowing something to look at and do.
Yes, and that's another thing, is everybody thinks you have to have a tractor to come to Plow Day. No.
The field couldn't handle that many tractors.
We couldn't have everybody bring a tractor, so we want more.
Plow Day would be like plow hour.
Yeah, Plow Day is more about getting together, fellowship, we have fun. Yeah, there's tractors out there plowing, but it's like that's like this much of Plow Day. Yeah. I mean, it's so fun.
I don't know quite how I'm going to do the logistics of it this year. I got to figure that out. but usually that biggest plow day field is split up into 2 sections. My hope is once one section is done and the tractors are plowing on the other section, that plowed section is going to get field cultivated and planted in rye that same day. But my goal is when I take my camper away from that plow day field and bring it back to the house, I want that field planted in rye.
Flatfoot Farmer says, is Plow Day going to grow as fast as your channel subscribers? You may need a bigger parking lot.
Yeah. Well,
And it has
it seems like last year we had, I mean, the last few years, that field, and I'm going to be honest with you, we've been real lax on parking. Like, y'all just park anywhere. But if we was to say, okay, let's get the guys in the trucks to park here, 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 and here, and then the cars here, 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 you could put a lot more cars in that field.
Yeah,
I mean,
we just haven't had to be like careful of
yeah,
so much
because
space.
it's probably right at a 2-acre field maybe.
And every year it has gotten bigger.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just continue to, it's just hope for it to continue to grow because we just enjoy having more and more people. And everybody who comes seems to have a great time. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's just, you know, really just getting together. And I think everybody
Sweet
enjoys
potatoes,
it.
sweet potatoes do good. Everybody can leave with sweet potatoes again.
Yeah. Whatever abundance crop we have around that time, you will be taking some home.
Yeah,
So,
and then, well, I don't know. Hopefully the corn would be off by then, but it may not be.
Well, we'll see.
Well, it would be further enough along where
That they could dry it.
if somebody wanted some, they could walk right out to that field and get them 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and just maybe let it finish drying with them. Yeah, we'll probably have sweet potatoes because I don't know why Joey ordered so many plants because we'll never eat that many. So
Because I like growing them.
we'll be giving away.
And
some sweet
I like
potatoes.
showing everybody what Steele Plant Company can
And we
do.
usually do a little merchandise giveaway too with Allison. She brings some stuff, some items. We do a drawing, you
Yeah.
know, so that's fun. Avery says, me too. I will definitely be there. Can't wait to see y'all.
Yes, sir, Avery.
Jason McDonald says, hey, Jtwes.
Hey, Jason.
And Ricky Eats says, good night, guys. May God bless y'all and
Where's
have a
everybody going?
blessed and prosperous
Oh.
week.
It is 8:57.
Thank you, Ricky. Lamont said, was terrible on mule and handles at barn. We'll have to get together to build one.
Yeah, those things, man, they just look like they pull hard.
John Gainey says, Granddaddy would put 3 boards on each side, standing about 30 inches tall, and would put a nail in the top of each one and hook a tobacco sheet out, hooking each corner and 2 sides to the nail.
Yeah.
George Joyner is on.
Hello, George Joyner.
Tobacco barnwood. I made a tobacco slide that I carry to shows.
Oh, wow.
See, that would be something cool to bring to Plow Day.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That and
Timbo calls it show and shine.
yeah, maybe a little hit and miss engine. Just you know, some small stuff that we can set up and people can look at.
And Lamont says, I have an old horse-drawn tobacco sprayer that I could bring to Plow Day.
Yeah, we'll see that.
Avery said, my planter. Yay, Roger's on.
Hey, Roger.
He said, I made it. It's good to see you, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, where you been?
I know, he's been ghosting us. He broke up with us. T. Hawkins says, I want to plow some at Plow Day, but keep you guys laughing too. Oh, yeah. We'll take both.
Yeah, you can plow.
Avery says, will be good for me to video my YouTube. I got 77 subscribers the other day.
You film all you want to,
Yeah,
buddy.
Avery, yeah, and we have a couple of people, or a few, I don't even know how many.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Who do their own.
Yeah.
They film their own stuff.
I've always told the guys that come out, you know, don't, just because it's my plow day or whatever, Jtwes, it's all of us. It's all of us is plow
Stan,
day.
too. Stan broke up with us, too. He's been ghosting us. You have to get him on FaceTime.
He's watching, I'm sure.
I don't know.
He is. He just ain't commenting.
Bonnie said it's on the calendar.
But anyway, I've always encouraged people to film all they want, especially, you know, if they got a YouTube channel, obviously. Film all you want, have at it, and, you know.
Avery said, I wish I could have my own event. And it comes with time, Avery. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Avery, yeah, it's not like we're some experts at it, buddy. It's just, I don't know. I think, honest to goodness, the first time I decided to have a plow day, I think I thought the ideal up in like September.
Yeah. And then he was so shocked when some people showed up.
Oh my gosh.
You should have seen his face. He was just so excited. Like, people came.
You know who's the first one that rolled up?
Um,
Rail fan, Paul.
Was it Paul?
Yeah.
I know Paul's been at every single one.
Yes.
Paul is our.
Johnny, I think, has been at every single one.
Was he at our first one?
Yeah, Johnny was the first one too.
Yeah, so we've got
Because
our
Johnny was lucky to get out there for that 140.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Johnny and Thomas have been at every one too. Those are
Thomas
our
has
OGs.
has been one.
Because Thomas was like almost a baby pretty much when he showed up. Our OG plow day we started with, and how many was it? Like
the first one, there's quite a few.
Like
and,
5?
No, it's a little more than that. I don't remember. I'd have to watch the video, but.
Anyways, we were both shocked and surprised.
Yeah.
Like, what? The people are showing up? It was exciting.
And Brother Pat come all the way from West Virginia.
Yeah, and he's come to everyone, but I think one.
He missed this year because of the
hurricane.
He was digging out people, unfortunately.
He had a lot going on up there with helping with cleanup for the hurricane, so we missed him this year. George Joyner says, talk to Matt Farmall 51 and you can borrow my tobacco slide for demonstration.
There you go.
Joey Neal said, I'd love to bring my 140, but it's a little distance to haul it.
You know, Matt usually comes to that plow day too.
Matt does?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey Neal. Yeah, Joey, if you and Martha could work something out to be around town at that time, we'd love to have you, but I know it's a long way. And, of course, you don't need to bring your tractor. We just love to see you. T. Hawkins says, if anyone coming to Plow Day and traveling I-95, please pick up Bonnie and take her. LOL. We'll make sure Bonnie has a ride. Excuse me. William says, hey, deer's getting my pea field too big to fence. Any suggestion to get them away?
The pea field's too big to fence? Oh, man, William.
What about that dog statue we're seeing?
There's a guy on the way to church has a coyote statue in his corn patch and beans and stuff. I don't know if it works or not. You got stuff like that. I've seen Danny at Deep South, Pecan Grove, use some dog barkers, motion detector dog barkers, and he says they work pretty good. You got all of those type of little remedies. But you also have some remedies chemical-wise. They do make animal repellent sprays, and I'm not talking about Avipel. And the only reason why I say that because my buddy Sam, Plow Day Sam, he said they made something that you could spray on soybeans, but unfortunately it washes off with every rain, and it's pretty expensive, and you have to spray it back on there, and I think it gives them a sour taste in their mouth or something.
George Joyner says ivory soap will keep deer away.
Well, there's all kinds of those little... Believe it or not, for 2 years, I used to keep crows away, and it quit working with just a radio. I hate to admit this, but I think I put it on like Rock 92 and set it over in the barn.
No, it was on a country station.
Was it a country station?
Because I would be going outside the front yard and I hear somebody crying about
losing a girlfriend.
Yeah, losing their truck, their girlfriend, their dog.
The house.
Yeah.
But I knew it was something I played. But anyway, it didn't work but so long. And but I can tell you what has worked. Avipel. I ain't had no crow problems this year. None.
John Michael says, I would love to come to Plow Day. How far is it from Richmond, Virginia?
Not too bad, John Michael. It's I guess Richmond. We could be in Richmond within 2 hours, 2.5 hours from here. Some of you guys punch in if you know, but it's for me, you go to Richmond, it's just 15 miles to the Interstate 40, and I jump on 85.
Avery said it'd be about 2.5 hours.
That's what
Because, Avery's
up
in that area, so he knows. Hold on. Brian said coyote urine from hunting shops will keep deer away. And Timbo says shoot 'em.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say that,
Well,
but
yeah,
I
'cause
mean
if
that's.
they're a nuisance.
I mean, I guess you could do like those YouTube videos where you see those guys out in those prairies where those coyotes are around those big herds of cows, and man, they go to town. But them boys, they're like ex-military or something. I don't know, but they go to town on it.
Yeah, George said Ivory Soaps works for me for the past 8 years.
Oh wow.
And Johnny Edgerton said, we look forward to Plow Day all year long. And T. Hawkins said, John Michael, I'm 60 miles south of you in Emporia. So yeah, they are all in Virginia. And William said, my only idea is our pie pan, scarecrows, dog, and my good old gun. And Bonnie says, you can pick me up. Talking to the person in Richmond. Yes, they'll come right by you, Bonnie. They'll get you. But anyways, it's after 9. I think we should call it an evening.
I want to eat a piece of pie.
Yes, eat your pie, your almond joy, or was it no
Mounds,
He found Mounds pie.
Yeah, there was a Mounds pie in Food Line, and I'm tell you what.
Hawkins says, please stop it.
I'm gonna tell you what, that Mounds pie was pretty good.
And William does have a good question. How do I put the Ivory Soap out there? Spray bottle and just spray it out there?
That's a good question.
George asked, because it's too big for a fence. I'm thinking it's a pretty large area. So I don't know if you, like...
Maybe put the ivory on a stick. And
I'm thinking maybe if you could do, like, shave off, like, shred some ivory bar.
No, I don't think it'd be...
Sprinkle
it's got
that.
something to do with just putting the whole soap bar out there.
I don't think so. I think it's the smell of it. And if you did shavings... Hold on. He said put a whole bar on steaks. Oh, I hate you.
I told you.
George, you could have at least said my shredded soap idea was right. Yeah, T. Hawkins said please. He said y'all have a good night. Oh no, Bonnie said y'all have a. T. Hawkins said you'd only make that mistake once. Stop it. You know you're the happiest man in Virginia, T. Hawkins. William said LOL. And George said 50 foot apart, whole bar on the steaks. William, so that's the answer. Don't listen to me and my ideas.
One thing, at least Ivory Soap, you can buy like a dozen of them for $5.
Well, that's because they turn your skin to chalk, so they're cheap.
We were talking about my Ivory Soap.
I know, I don't like ivory. But anyway,
All right,
I'll
you
shut
gonna cut us off?
Yes.
All right. Yep, Avery said good night. Good night, Avery. All right, guys. God bless y'all. God loves you. We will see you soon. Good night.
Good night.